Thank you very much. That and $1.65 will get you a good cup of coffee at Starbucks, okay? Actually, I had quite an illustrious career, 27 and a half years in the FBI. And in those 27 and a half years, I had 13 assignments, so I moved around the country. The only part of the country I never did live in was really the extreme northeast U.S. So also during my career, I handled just about everything. I was counter-espionage, counter-terrorism in New York and Connecticut, and I negotiated with some skyjackers at Philadelphia International Airport for 2.5 hours, July the 12th, 1972. And I ended up being in charge of most of Southern California. Had over 700 personnel under my command. I went out, left, retired, had over 600 people at my retirement party. Former Governor Jerry Brown, Gray Davis was there, Pat Brown was there, Louis L'Amour was there. It really read like who's who. I was quite flattered. But I had no idea what awaited me after I retired. I personally investigated the Oklahoma City bombing case, huge cover-up. Jack Kennedy's assassination, huge cover-up. Bobby Kennedy's assassination, huge cover-up. World Trade Center, huge cover-up. Okay, terrorism. They're using it as an excuse to take away our constitutional rights and our civil liberties. The Bilderbergs, the Illuminati, Bilderberg, New World Order, globalists are the element behind this. It dovetails into the Satanic movement, and this movement has infiltrated into our intelligence community, the once great FBI and the CIA. I have, in the past, had personal contact with an individual who was head of the CIA hit squad. He had over 3,000 individuals around the world he could call upon to go out and kill somebody. And at that speech, I said within 2 weeks after World Trade Center, because of my instincts, because of my knowledge, I said there was an evil element within the government that's responsible for Oklahoma City. Now that was right off the top of my head, okay? My instincts told me that. You know what? I was right. 100% right. And Charles Keyes has a report over here. I met Charles one of my trips to Oklahoma City. Fantastic report. I have my own report in the back, 216, 17 pages long, and documents without any question that the government was involved. I had an inside investigator tell me there were at least 11 other people involved in Oklahoma City. Why? Well, you have to go back to the 1980s, George Bush Sr. administration, when the Department of Justice wrote some new anti-terrorism legislation. One of the female authors, Department of Justice attorney, made the statement publicly, and I have her name in my file someplace: before this passes, people will have to be killed. Fast forward, 1993, World Trade Center. Yosef, head terrorist, right? Well, if you have, and this is again in my documentation, I have 22 years of documentation back there, my own reports. Yosef had among his group of terrorists a fellow named Salam, a 43-year-old former Egyptian officer. And Salam was an FBI informant. At the time when they solved that case so rapidly, I said, gee, they did a great job. I'm proud of the FBI. But I found out later that actually they did it through this informant, Salam. Well, at the trial, it came out that Salam had body mic on him when he interviewed or was involved with the terrorists. And he also had a body mic on when he was interviewed by the FBI. That they didn't know it, though, unfortunately. Or fortunately, actually. Because at the trial, he testified that he was commissioned to assemble the bomb for the World Trade Center in 1993. He went to the FBI and said, we're going to use a dummy bomb, aren't we? And they said, no, we're going to use a real bomb. And this came out, and the FBI couldn't deny it because of the recorded conversation that he had. He protected himself real well. So what I'm telling you is the FBI not only knew in advance the bombing of the World Trade Center in 1993, they furnished the ingredients for the bomb. You're saying, oh, Ted, come on. Well, I have a newspaper article back there dated October 28, 1993, New York Times, that summarizes and gives the detail of just what I've told you this very few moments ago. 6 people killed, not enough people killed. Enough as far as the family is concerned. I'm sure it's very tragic. So update, fast forward, April 19th, 1995. 168 people killed. A year later, the anti-terrorism bill passed. Now we have the World Trade Center. I received a call right after the World Trade Center collapse of the towers from a source in New York City. A group of Columbia University students were in southern Manhattan. Manhattan, you know, that's the south part of the island. And they witnessed the tower plane, the second plane coming in and the collapse of the towers, et cetera. And they said that there was an explosion on the top floors, and they heard it and they saw it, just immediately before the buildings collapsed. There was a witness on one of the TV shows, Brian Gumbel's show, October the 10th of last year. He said he heard a secondary explosion before the towers collapsed. There was a witness who was interviewed March the 11th, the 6-month anniversary, on Fox News, primetime, who said he was in the building, he heard a secondary explosion a few minutes before the buildings collapsed. In Oklahoma City, I have an article that was written by the Oklahoma City Fire Department, that appeared in a national newspaper publication. They took 4 unexploded bombs out of Oklahoma City. There's no question in my mind they wanted that building totally destroyed. I contend that the truck bomb was a barometric bomb, which is a highly classified weapon. There were only 10 people at the time, and produced by the Hercules, developed by the Hercules, assembled and built by Nobel company in Salt Lake City. I can't think of, but it's not important. It's in my report. And the reason that they said it was a fertilizer bomb is because they knew, and the general public would know, that McVeigh was capable of putting a fertilizer bomb together, not this bomb. And then there were bombs on the inside. I'm convinced that the barometric bomb was in the truck, and that there were 5 bombs on the inside that were supposed to explode. Carol Howe, who was a ATF informant, by the way, she wasn't treated quite as well as Salam was treated, because they tried to convict her, and she came forward after the bombing and said that she had notified the federal government about the bombing of Oklahoma City in advance. They tried her, and she was acquitted, fortunately. So there we have it. We have experts who watched the building collapse, who say that it looked, to their opinion, in their expert opinion, like an implosion. And the design engineers said that the buildings were built to take a commercial jet airline and not collapse. The one building, the plane did kind of a glancing blow, and most of the explosion, as you recall, the second plane was outside of the perimeter of the building itself. But they're claiming now, of course, and have claimed all along, the buildings collapsed because the fire, and it melted the beams, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Don't believe it. Inside job, as far as I'm concerned. There's no question about it. This is just another huge cover-up in order to take our constitutional rights and civil liberties away, as I said a few moments ago. And I, for one, am not going to stand by and let it happen. I'm going to go forward as far and as fast as I can and try to expose these people. I basically have...